All right, guys, I'm having a bit of a relaxed Tuesday today, but that's okay. Welcome to the full moon energy reading. For those of you who don't know, I'm Ann Blackwood, your Silicon Valley sage sister, here to bring consciousness to the forefront of your daily life, to make life a little kinder and simpler. I do this with a little bit of magic and a little bit of the practical and a little bit of the spiritual and all sorts of fun stuff. So we've got full moon energy going on, which means that everything we've planted between the last new moon and now are going to come to fruition. So, or, potentially start coming to fruition, which also means if you had any bad habits that you didn't get rid of between a couple of days ago and now, you are going to grow those, or at least maintain them, into the future, most likely. So, what do the cards have in store for us today? Let's find out. God, source, spirit, cosmic consciousness, ancestors, galactic ancestors, spirits and spirit guides. As I set my ego to the side to channel your message, please let me speak it clearly. All right, that's the easy part. The hard part recently has been getting the somatic feedback in my fingers to stick around, because I'll feel it and it's been waning recently. It'll be like, oh, you felt it, and then it won't come back when I go back to the card. Sometimes. So I'm having to fan out the cards more so that there's less having to go back and forth. Which I don't know what that's about. I'm trying to figure that out. All right, let's see. Nope. No? I don't know. Let's see. No. Oh, there we go. There we go. Is this one? I'm gonna start cutting this part out so that you guys don't have to wait for me to find the card with my finger that's arguing with me. All right, so Pachacuti. We've had this one before. I don't know if we had this one on my Facebooks that I was doing for a little while. For a little while, I was doing a weekly card pull on Facebook. And then I was like, I don't want to do Facebook anymore. And now I'm back on Facebook for one single group. Kind of like I was really only on Facebook for one single group in the beginning anyway. Anyway, Pachacuti. Is your life in a state of upheaval? Allow Pachacuti to inspire you to manage the energy of great change. The prophecies talk about the time of Pachacuti, the overturning of the world to come back into balance. If you are feeling topsy-turvy, make good medicine out of bad vibes. Shift your perception out of your root chakra up into your heart chakra, heart center. Look at the situation you are in with the eyes of your heart. Your soul may be calling for change. Discern the higher good. Pachacuti. So, Here's what I want to say on that, though, is that when it comes to looking at things with your heart center, that doesn't mean letting your emotions do the job of your intellectual parts necessarily. You can be loving and kind while still being logical and rational. When it comes to really plugging things into your heart center, it's about being able to take that balance and really look at everything that's happening, not blind yourself or, hide yourself from anything, but really take in the good, the bad, the awesome, the ugly, plug it all in and see how it feels. Listen to what your emotions have to say. Listen to what your intellect has to say. Don't let them do each other's job. And then come out and say, okay, from an actual loving place, not a selfish place, not a place of a concern for others, not a place of, how would I describe that? Not a place of, it's kind of a mix of what I already just said. You want to look at it and be able to set all the perceptions side by side. So what would my emotions say? What would my intellect say? What would my rational and logical say? What would my unrational and illogical say? And just really sit back and look at those. And ask yourself all the questions. Why am I holding on to this? Why am I trying to let this go? All of those things. And really answer the question. That's what plugging it into your heart center is being honest and truthful with yourself about the answers to these questions. Not making excuses, not making excuses, but being honest and saying, okay, you know what? This really sucks, but, and a good way to look at this is, what advice would you give your friend? Which this kind of goes along with one of Jordan Peterson's 12 rules in his first book. Treat yourself like someone else that you're taking care of. Because we have a tendency to take care of others better than we take care of ourselves. So ask yourself, and actually it's funny because I have a video where I'm going to talk about this very thing soon. Ask yourself, if I was going to look at this objectively as if it was happening to somebody else and then give that person advice, what advice would I give them? Because you'd be pulled away from the situation. So even if it's not like a friend, I just ask yourself, like, if I was looking at this situation from an outside perspective, like as much as you possibly can, like break down the simple parts, break it down into simple parts. Like, for instance, I'm going to give you an extreme just because it's easy to look at it that way. But, let's say, to not genderize it, let's say your loved one ended up punching you in the face. From your perspective, you're like, oh, but I love them and it's okay. And maybe I think I even deserved it because I was contributing to it. Because you're in that. But if you break it down into its most simple parts, I got into a fight with a loved one. You actually know, because you're taking yourself out of it completely. So it's someone gets into a fight with a loved one and gets punched in the face. Is this the first time it happened? Is there any chance that it could happen again? How do we resolve this? Take yourself out of it. And then ask yourself, what advice would you give someone else? What advice would someone else give in this situation? You know what the answers are. The answers in this situation would be, if it's only happened the once and you don't think it'll ever happen again, and you think you can actually have an honest conversation about it and mend things, maybe, depending on the situation, but probably also more often than not, get the fuck out of there, depending on the situation. Again, did this person have some sort of mental breakdown? Or is this their normal state? All these things have to be questioned. This is why counseling, coaching, therapy is so important, because the average person doesn't have the ability to pull all of these different perspectives, because all they have is their perspective. Is where someone like myself or the other amazing therapists and coaches that I've worked with in the past, the reason why we are able to look at things from more than just our perspective in that sense is because we've worked with so many other different perspectives that we're still seeing all of those through our perspective, but it's the closest thing you're going to get to an outside perspective that has many perspectives. And it's still getting an outside perspective because you're not you're not just internally talking, you're talking it out with somebody else. So I mean, there's no question, for everybody right now, the world is feeling upside down. And it is time for change. And we can do so much better. My post yesterday was, you're not just worthy. It's not just that you know that you're allowed to. It's that you're capable. But do you know that you're capable? Everybody knows they're allowed to. Everybody knows they're worthy. I mean, we're getting it blown up our butts every day. You're worthy, you're worthy, you're worthy. So much so that it's losing its meaning with all this toxic positivity. But I mean, really, do you know that you're capable? What do you want? And do you know that you're capable of actually achieving it? And how much encouragement do you really think it would take? Because in my experience, it actually takes very little to get someone off the ground and headed towards like really amazing, life-changing stuff. So for the next 2 weeks, which is what this energy reading is for, start looking at what you've planted the last 2 weeks, the last God knows how long you've been alive. Ask yourself, in my garden of life, my mind, whatever, what have I been really planting for myself? And why do I think the grass is greener somewhere else? And could I be doing a better job of watering my own grass? Taking care of my own grass, taking care of my own garden. Like, I could have, I being you in this scenario, think to yourself, if I just took care of my own garden, I wouldn't have to worry about what somebody else's grass looked like, because I'd be taking care of my own garden, seeing that it's legit amazing, rather than wondering why somebody else's grass is greener all the time when you know damn well it's because you're not taking care of your own. Not really. So, what would it take? What would it take? Am I actually planting things in my own garden of life, of my mind, that is going to help me live my life in an abundant and full way? Or am I planting really crappy, poisonous weeds and gross things that are choking any potentially amazing plants that could bear fruit to death? And what could I do to change those? What could I do to pull those weeds out of my garden and then go on to plant new, better seeds? And what would those seeds be? And if you want help figuring this all out, hit me up, because I have one more day left of taking session cycle applicants. But I'll probably extend that for like a couple of more days, because I can just feel it. There's somebody out there debating. This is the universe calling. Go for it. Because you are capable. And there's nothing wrong with accepting a helping hand up. So, all right, guys, may the energy you serve you well. And yeah, let's keep making our way. Let's keep making our way through. And stay tuned for all sorts of fun stuff coming out. I'm about to do a commentary on something for the sanctuary. I have my workshop coming out that was live on yesterday, 2 days ago, 3, no, it was live on Saturday. It's Tuesday now. Maybe I need to get a little more sleep. Maybe that's why it's Casual Tuesday, because I'm about to go lay down and take a nap. Even though it's only, what? 3:15. Okay, so yeah, I've been up for a while. Maybe I do deserve a nap. Who knows? Listening to the body. All right, guys. Yeah, so stay tuned for all sorts of amazing stuff coming out on YouTube, on Patreon. Go check that out. The links in the descriptions. Well, you can't check out the amazing stuff that's coming out, but what you can check out is all the amazing stuff that has already come out. And so that way you've also got all that stuff saved and subscribed and signed up for, so that when the new amazing stuff does come out, you'll already be ready to receive it. Check it out. All right, guys. I'm going to go eat lunch and take a nap. Thank you for joining me. And be brave, stay sane, stay curious, and be kind to each other.